Shaar Aleph, Aliyah Lahar Habayis Kahalocha. Getting right into the meat of it. Now again, I remind everyone that this is not intended to be a halacha l'maisa effort. We're doing this for educational research, understanding the inyanim. For those who want to act upon it, you are advised to consult with your local Orthodox rabbi. Siman Aleph, Dinei Hamachanos Bamidbar Uvahar Abayis. As we're going to see, the encampments of way they encamped in the Midbar was also how they set up Har Habayis. Now there will be some confusion as we move forward into this parak because some of it is established, and then they made some areas that normally would have been permitted into forbidden areas, and the transition isn't laid out until afterwards. We go like, hey, wait, what did we just say? And we realize that, and then he explains it afterwards. So it's a little bit confusing at times. Mikoram shel gidre hamuter va'aser b'chniso l'makom hamikdash v'har habayis nilmadim midinei hamachanos hashonim bizman sha'am Yisrael holach b'midbar. The essential guidelines, boundaries of what would be permitted and forbidden in going up to Har Habayis or the Makom HaMikdash, the Beis HaMikdash. We're taught, we learn them, we're established by the way, the halachos of the different encampments that they had when they wandered in the Midbar. Chanayas Bnei Yisrael Saviv HaMishkan Hitchalka Lishloshas Machanos. The encampment of the Bnei Yisrael around the Mishkan itself was divided into three different encampments. Machane Shechina, that would be the innermost. Machane Levia, the encampment of the Leviim. Umachane Yisrael, and the encampment of everyone else. Kasher lechol echad min hamachanos hayu gedorim shonim beheter haknisa. And each one of these encampments had different rules on who could go into them, in what status, what people were allowed to go in, and when they had to be sent out. HaTorah mitzavah b'sefer b'midbar. Vaydaber Hashem al Moshe Lemor. Hashem spoke to Moshe. Tzavos b'nei Yisrael v'shalachu min hamachaneh kol tzarua v'chol zav v'chol tamei l'nafesh. So the first thing it says, send out from the encampment anybody who's got tzaras, anybody who has the tumah of being a zav, and anyone who has tumas mace. Right, tamei l'nafesh. Right. Mizachar ad nekeva teshalechu el michutz hamachaneh teshalechu v'lo yitameu es machanehem. Both men and women have to be sent out from the encampments, and so that they should not make impure their encampments where I'm dwelling among them. That's what the Bnei Israel did. They sent them out from the encampments. Just like Hashem commanded to Moshe, so too did the Bnei Israel. And I saw a great word on that double lashon. It normally says kasher asah, kasher tzivah, but here it says kasher diber Hashem Moshe kain also Bnei Israel. Just like he said. So a great word that I heard was they would listen. You might think that there's some kind of something wrong. There's some kind of weakness or flaw in somebody who has this, and that's why. So the Bnei Yisrael were eager to send them out, and so the pasuk has this lashon specifically to say, no. If it wasn't that they were commanded to do such and such, they would never have sent people away. But because they were commanded, so that's why they did it, because Hashem told them to do it, and that's it. Rashi Mavar Sham. Shalosh machanos hayu b'shas chanei. Whenever they made an encampment, there were three different rings, so to speak. Toch haklayim, inside the walls, himachane shechina, that's the walls of the Mishkan, that's the place of the Shechina. Chayanayas haLeviim saviv, and outside the Mishkan, that's where the Leviim would encamp. K'moshe mefurish b'parshas b'midbar Sinai hi machane Levia, just like it's explained in the parsha b'midbar. Umisham v'ad sof machane had the golim l'chol arba ruchos he machane Yisrael. And then the rest of the encampments within all the different flags. Remember, every Shevet had a flag. Each one for their. So in all four directions, north, south, east, and west, until the end of the encampment, that was the machane Yisrael. Each one according to their place. Hatzarua nishtaleach chutz l'kulan. Someone who had tzaras was sent outside of all of this. He couldn't be within any of these encampments. Hazov muter b'machane Yisrael u'meshulach min hashtayim. A zav was allowed to be within the outermost where the general populace lived, but he could not be in the machane Levi or the machane Hashchina. And this is all stuff that was learned. I'm sorry, I skipped something. V'tamei lenefesh, muter af b'shel leviyah, ve'enu meshulach ela mishel shchina. Someone who's got tumas meis, he can also be in machane leviyah by the Levium. He just can't be in the innermost encampment, which would be the Mishkan, Beis Hamikdash, etc.
He's an avatuma.
It doesn't say avatuma. It says somebody who's tamei meis. He doesn't say that he's an av. It could be tamei meis as a sheni.
Okay. Okay. So an avatuma, but he doesn't exclude.
First of all, what would be an avatuma there? A dead body.
No, that's a aviyavos.
Right, avavos, and then the person who touched the dead body.
He's tamei meis. He touched it. He's an avatuma.
Right, and the next person is a rishon.
Rishon, and then you can't be a sheni. You can't be a sheni.
Right, but a rishon I don't think could be either in there either.
So
if you have tumas meis that applies on you, you can't be in the innermost.
In the innermost, but Rashi is saying that an av hatuma can be amongst.
Now,
which is the opposite.
Wait. We're going to learn that we don't hold like this anymore. So before you start jumping into that, let's finish this section and it's going to be a while because they changed the rules a little bit.
I would have imagined at first blush what I know about Tum and Tara, that would be the reverse.
Why?
Saras is in a lot of ways a lower form of Tumah than of an Avatuma.
Right, and therefore it's.
So he's been enough. Saras
Okay,
Tumah's kicked out of the low camp.
So let's do it inside. And then if we have these questions way at the end in several weeks, we can always come back to them. כפי שרש"י מביא בגמרא, למדים מן הפסוקים שיש שלושה מחנות שצריך לשלח מתוך חמשת הטמאים. We learn from the psukim that there are indeed three encampments from which you have to send people who are tamei. Machane Shechina, Machane Levi, Machane Yisrael. Mimachane Yisrael mishalchim mitzoraim bilvad. Because we're mitzvah. We just send the Mitzorim. They're the only ones that have to leave there because that's what the Torah says. Mimachane Leviya mishalchim afes atmeim betuma yotzes megufam kizav v'zava. People who are sent from the Machane Levi, but can be in the Machane Yisrael, are people who have emitted their tumah from themselves. Now, by the way, a tzaras also is the tumah is in his goof. It's his tumah. He is the tamei item. True. That could be the answer to your question.
He's not emitted it.
No, okay, but the person who is tzaras has it on his skin.
Right. He is the source. Right,
and so too by the zav and the zava, they've emitted their tumah, whereas by a tamei meis, it's not him; it's something else. So that could be the answer to your question. All those people. Behemshech HaSefer, Beparshas Para, Anu Pogshim Shuv as a Yisr. When we get to Parshas Para, we again come across this prohibition. Someone who touches a dead body. So right now I was talking about an avatuma. Hu yischata bo, bayom hashlishi v'yom hashvi'i yitar, v'im lo yischata b'yom hashlishi v'yom hashvi'i lo yitar. He's got to do the sprinklings on the third day and on the seventh day, and that is what makes him tar. And if he doesn't do the sprinklings on the right days, then he's not going to become tar. Anybody who touches a dead body gets his tumas mace, and doesn't cleanse himself, and then he goes and becomes is mitame the Beis Hamikdash or the Beis Hashem as Mishkan Hashem. That person is going to have kores. Kimei nida lo zorak alav tamei yeh o tumasovo, because they didn't have the parshas para, the para duma actually splattered on him, and therefore his tuma remains on him. Gam Khan, Nezar Beferish Rashi, we're also helped here by Rashi's explanation. Hamagdir is Gvulo Seisur Shel Knisas Tamei Meis L'Minkom HaMikdash, who he sets the guidelines or the limits of how of the prohibition of letting a Tamei Meis go into the Makom HaMikdash. Im Nichnas LaAzara Afilu Bitvila Below Hazo Shlishi Shvi. Even if he does, because many things are mitayr just by going to mikvah and then waiting till the night, right? But here, no. Unless you sprinkle, unless you get the mechatas sprinkled on you, you are tummy. Don't make any sense. You could live in a mikvah; it wouldn't make a difference. Klomar, that is to say, she'isur tamei meis kayim me'atorah ach v'rach b'knisa la'azara. But that now tells us that the prohibition of a person who is tamei meis of entering is only entering into the azara. Okay? The isur zeh isur chamar she'on shel b'mezid kares, and this prohibition is a severe prohibition, and that if you violate it on purpose, you are chayev kares. Le'umazos benogea leknisa l'machna levia muvur b'tilas ashuya sheknisas tamei meis muteres lechatchila va'afilu achnosas hameis atzmo. Notwithstanding what we just said, that you can't go into the Makom HaMikdash, a person who is tamei meis and even the body itself can, according to the lichatchila dioraisa, can be in the Machane HaLevim.
Makes sense.
Now, Mitzorah shedichnas lifnim mechitzaso be'arbaim. When Mitzorah goes inside the gates, right? Then he gets 40 lashes. Zavin v'zava shenichnasu lifnim mechitzasan, a zav and a zava who goes inside where they're not supposed to. Barbaim also. V'tamei meis muter likanes l'machane levia. But a tamei meis can be in there. So if a zav and a zava or a mitzorah goes into the machane levia, that's malchus. Below tamei meis bilvad amru, and they weren't only talking about a tamei meis, ela afilu meis atzmo. Shene'emar vayikach Moshe es atzmos Yosef imo b'mechitzaso. He brought him inside that Machane Levia. That was where they transported the bones of Yosef.
If he goes in himself, it's going to be a problem.
What?
If
If Yosef does himself, yes, that would be a problem. And then we have the chart here on the page that says the Machane Shechina Asur b'Chnisa l'Tamei Meis. The Tamei Meis can't go in. Machane Levia muter l'Chnisa l'Tamei Meis v'Asur l'Ramatame b'Tumah Yotzes Midufo. And then Machane Yisrael Asur b'Chnisa l'Mitzorah Bilvad. Only a Mitzorah can't be in there. Okay. Ad kan ra'inu es hamakoros ha'oskim ba'agdoros ha'machanos v'hilchoseim savim of Mishkan. So far, we have seen the sources that deal with it's not guidelines, it's the,
Fences.
what? No, it's not. It's like the rules.
Yeah.
But there's a word for it. And the halachos having to do with the encampments around the Mishkan. Kasher bo Yisrael the Beis HaBechira, when the Bnei Yisrael got to the Beis HaMikdash, niskadesh hamakom kefi shehiskadshu hamachanos b'midbar. they were Mekadesh that Makom, in a similar manner to the way that they used to be Mekadesh the encampments in the desert. But Gemara, like it says in the Gemara, Tanya Kishem Shemachan Nor Kach Mashal Yerushalayim. The Brisa says, just like the Machane in the Midbar, so too they established the Machane in Yerushalayim. Mi Yerushalayim laharabayis Machane Yisrael. From the outskirts of Yerushalayim up to the gates of Harabayis, that was Machane Yisrael. Mi Harabayis the Shaar Nikanor. From there until the entrance to the Shaar Nikanor of the Heichal, right? Machane Levia.
Excluding Bezrat Nashim.
Mikan ve'elach. Well, there's going to be a map in a couple pages. 1 second. It excludes. No. Here's Shaar Nikanor here. If you look at the map, let's take a look at the map here. Shaar Nikanor is here. Oh wait, I'm not sure if Shaar Nikanor is here. No, Shaar Nikanor is here. Yeah. So the Ezra Sanashim is part of Machane Levia. Yeah, that's a line drawn to the Ezra Sanashim. So yes, that would be what it's talking about. Mikan ve'elach Machane Shechina ve'hein kloim shabimidbar. Those were the same divisions that they had in the desert. Okay, we're going to stop here. We're going to continue with the Rambam, which is very, very confusing, next week, and hopefully we'll get to the end of Siman Aleph next time.